Hey now, metalheads, it's Black Metal Werewolf doing a brand new video for you this week. And today we are going to be doing a concert review. It has been several years since I've done one of these, but just last week I got to see two power metal titans share the same stage. And it was so goddamn good, I just have to talk about it. Those two bands were DragonForce and PowerWolf. And whoever thought of putting these two bands together on one stage must have been a friggin' genius, because this was a match made in heavy metal heaven. After all, what two animals are cooler than dragons and wolves? Nothing, that's what. So that is what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be talking about what a great experience it was to see these two magnificent bands play live. But before we get into what an amazing show that was, don't forget to follow me on social media. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitch. Also, if you are interested in the paranormal, check out my paranormal podcast, The Lost Campfire, on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. And finally, if you liked today's video, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave me a comment, and to share this video with a few of your friends while you're at it. Little things like that go a long way in helping the channel grow. Now that all of that boring crap is out of the way, we can get down to the good stuff, about how amazing DragonForce and PowerWolf were live. I want to start things out by saying I was genuinely surprised about how many people showed up for this show. I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say that every metalhead within a 200-kilometer radius of Toronto showed up to see DragonForce and PowerWolf. Now, I knew those two bands were very popular, but for some reason I didn't really expect that many people to show up to this one Canadian date. Regardless, it was amazing to see. Metalheads in Ontario, you guys really pulled through to see this one band. Okay, now let's talk about the actual bands that played. First up was DragonForce, and I gotta say that their set was something else. But before I get into the music, I just want to talk about their stage setup, because that was really a feast for the eyes. On either side of the stage, they had these gigantic inflatable dragon heads. And beside those dragon heads were these two gigantic arcade machines that had screens that were playing footage from old retro video games, which fit in perfectly with their last album that came out not too long ago, called Warp Speed Warriors, which was all about video games. As for their set list, it was a really good combination of old fan favorites and new hits off of their latest album, which I thought was great, so regardless if you're a new fan or an old fan, there was going to be something that you were going to enjoy. The show started off with the song Cry Thunder, which I thought was the perfect way to kick things off, because that song just kicks total ass, and it really got the crowd pumped and ready for an epic metal night. Then things really got rolling as they played their next song, Power of the Triforce. Now, if you are a Legend of Zelda fan like I am, you'll really appreciate this. Because before they started playing the song, the lead singer took out this giant stuffed chicken and then threw it into the crowd. And next thing you know, the stuffed chicken was just bouncing all across the venue, up into the balcony, back down, back and forth. It was really fun. And then as the song was playing and they were doing the guitar solo, it started showing images of chickens all over the screen in the background. Now, if you don't know anything about Legend of Zelda, you won't get that reference at all. But if you do like those video games, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, and just how funny and quirky that was. Also, on their new album, they have a song called Space Marine Corps, which is all about Warhammer 40k. Now, as a brand new fan to Warhammer, that was a real treat to hear live. But they also played many other really great songs, like Doomsday Party, where everyone in the crowd started doing a disco dance, so that was really fun and silly. And of course, they ended their set with the legendary Through the Fire and Flames. But they also brought up just how video games made that one song so famous. From Guitar Hero back in the day, to one of my personal favorite games, Brutal Legend, and most recently, Fortnite. So obviously, video games are very important to these guys, and that's probably why they made such a great album all about video games and video game music. So overall, that was pretty damn cool. However, as much as I did enjoy DragonForce's set, not everything was perfect. For example, during their song Burning Heart, it was way too loud. It was so loud it just became sonic mud, and all I could hear was just noise rattling my skull. And I ended up having to put my earplugs in just so I wouldn't burst a friggin' eardrum.
Oh, Marge, I went to thousands of heavy metal concerts and it never hurt me. I hear you.
Also, for some reason on their latest album, DragonForce did a cover of a Taylor Swift song. Now that is something I will never understand, and something I can probably do an entire video in and of itself. But I can ignore something like that, except for the fact that they then took that Taylor Swift cover and then played it live. Now, maybe it's just me, but I will never understand why any metal band ever will think it's a good idea to do a cover of a Taylor Swift song and then decide to play it live for a whole bunch of metalheads. Maybe it was just me, but I just thought that was a really odd choice and not something smart to play for a whole bunch of metalheads. Unfortunately, I do have one more complaint, but this one isn't about their music or their stage show, it was about their merch booth. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I go to a show, I always hit the merch booths after the show has ended. I don't want to get to the show, then wait in line to get a t-shirt, then have to carry that t-shirt around the entire concert. I would rather wait for the show to end, then go get my merch, then I can leave. So that's what I did for this concert. And after it was over, I went to go get a DragonForce t-shirt, and it was completely empty, and it looked like the band had already packed up and left to go to the next city. Which really sucks because I wanted to buy a DragonForce t-shirt and I think it would be cool to have that in my collection. But they were just already gone. Maybe they had sold out, but for some reason I doubt that's what happened. I think they did their set, they sold as much as they could, and then they were like, okay, we're out of here. I wish they'd stuck around a bit longer, just so more fans could have bought more of their merch. Maybe I'm nitpicking and splitting hairs here, but that is something I kinda like to do when I go to a concert. I like to get the merch, I like to give them money, I want to support the band. But I can't do that when you're not offering me anything to buy. So I ended up just buying 2 PowerWolf t-shirts. Now, I don't want to come off as a downer because DragonForce really did put on a good show. So despite all of my complaints, it was still amazing to see. They were fun and funny on stage, they had great banter with the crowd. Despite that one song being too loud, for the most part they sounded great. They looked cool as hell. Overall, it was really just a great experience. Now, I've been to a lot of shows before, and I've seen a lot of shitty opening bands. And DragonForce was the exact opposite of that. That had to have been one of the best opening acts I've ever seen at a metal show. So once again, despite my few complaints, overall it was a great experience. And if you ever get the chance to see DragonForce, I highly suggest you take it, because I do not think you'll regret it. Okay, now let's head on to the headliner, PowerWolf. And holy crap, what a performance! So before the band even started playing, I knew I was going to be in for a great show, because all the roadies came out, took down DragonForce's set, and then set up for PowerWolf. And they turned the entire stage into this giant gothic cathedral, which is very fitting for their type of music. And then just out of nowhere, without introduction, the band came out and just struck like a thunderstorm and hit us with the song Bless Him with the Blade. No need for introductions, no need for pleasantries, let's just go out there and fucking hit the audience. And that's exactly what they did. Then after Bless Him with the Blade had ended, that's when the lead singer Attila addressed the audience. And I have to say that he is one charismatic guy. He knows how to grab the audience by the balls and get them pumped for the rest of the show. And he told us that this wasn't just going to be any concert. This was going to be a heavy metal mass. And it was time for all of us to get down on our knees and pray. As the show continued, PowerWolf then began barraging the audience with hit after hit. They played some of the most popular songs off of pretty much all of their albums. So regardless of which one is your favorite, chances are they were going to play a song that you knew and loved, so there was something for everybody. And one of the best parts about this show was just how involved they were getting the entire crowd. Now, if you've ever listened to PowerWolf, you know that the lead singer is, I'm pretty sure, a trained opera singer, and he vocalizes all the time. And throughout most of the songs, he was telling the crowd, like, come on, vocalize with me, and it was just great to see everyone get involved. And at one point, he even tried to get the security guards at the front of the stage involved too. And that got a big laugh from the rest of the crowd as he was trying to encourage these guys, like, come on, sing along with me, come on. It was really funny. Another great part about this show is that it wasn't just about the music, it was a visual feast for the eyes as well. Now, like I said before, the stage was like a giant Gothic cathedral, but as they were playing their songs, they were able to project like album art from their past albums in the cathedral windows, and that was really incredible to see. Now, if you're not familiar with PowerWolf, you should know that they have some of the best album art in all of heavy metal. So seeing that incorporated as they're playing their songs from different albums and seeing it and being able to point out like, oh yeah, I remember that's the art for this song in the album art. It was just really cool to see. So not only did you get to hear these amazing songs, but you got to see this beautiful artwork on this amazing stage. It was truly just something to behold. And it wasn't just the band that made this special. The entire crowd made this an experience to behold. Everyone was singing along in mosh pits, and there were crowd surfers, even though I fucking hate crowd surfers, but that's not the point. People were really getting into the music. And during one of the songs, Sinners of the Seven Seas, the mosh pit area all dropped down to their asses, and then it did the rowing pit like you would see at an Amon Amarth concert. Now, I wanted to jump in there too and go along with everybody, but I really didn't want to give up my spot because I was really close to the stage. But regardless, it was cool to actually see that in person, because even when I saw Amon Amarth years ago, no one there dropped down and did the rowing pit. So it was cool to see it at a PowerWolf concert, not at an Amon Amarth concert. Regardless, it was just amazing that the entire crowd was so into it. And like I said, every metalhead within 200 kilometers of Toronto converged on this concert. And I think this is the first time PowerWolf has ever played in Toronto. And I don't know how many times they've played in Canada in general. Maybe 2 or 3 times in the past. So just seeing all these people converge here to have the best time they possibly could, I mean, mwah, chef's kiss. It was beautiful. Now, if I had to make any complaint about the PowerWolf set, it would have to be that the 2 guitarists didn't really interact with the crowd that much. Now, between every song, the lead singer and most of the times the keyboardist would come out and interact with the crowd, talk to us, get us involved, get us all hyped up. But between every song, the guitarists would go off stage and probably get a drink of water or something. So when they were playing, yeah, they were interacting with the crowd, but once every song was over, they split, did whatever they were doing, then they would come out for the next song. Now, that complaint is me nitpicking and me splitting hairs, because it didn't ruin the experience. It's just, I thought it was odd that the lead singer and the keyboardist were, and the 2 guitarists weren't. It just seemed weird to me that they didn't really get involved with the crowd that much. Overall, PowerWolf absolutely killed it. With a set list of almost 20 songs, they gave us a good long show, and we definitely got our money's worth. They went on stage, they took control of the crowd like pros, and it looked like every single person there was having an amazing time. And in all honesty, that's all us metalheads could possibly ask for. And other than my one small nitpicking complaint, I have nothing bad to say about PowerWolf. And I really hope they come to Canada again, because I would see them every single time they played. And I really hope I get a chance to see them again soon. If I were to give this experience a rating out of 10, I would probably give it a 9.8 out of 10. Yes, for the most part it was amazing, but there were just a few little things that I thought were odd or just not well done. But the vast majority of the show was amazing, and like I said, if you ever get the chance to see PowerWolf or DragonForce, I suggest you do it because they're great live. But now I want to get your guys' opinion on all of this. Have you seen either PowerWolf or DragonForce live? And if you have, what was your experience like? Did they put on a good show or a bad show? Were they headliners or openers? Was it part of a festival or were they on their own? Give me your stories of DragonForce and PowerWolf down in the comments section, because I would like to know what these bands are like doing other shows, and I'm sure other metalheads would too. Now, I just want to give you a big thank you for checking out my video and watching till the very end. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Oh yeah, and don't forget to stay brutal.